동탄에서 우리 아이 영어 교육하시는 학부모님, 은근 이런 생각하시죠? 즐겁게 배우는 영어와 제대로 배우는 영어는 다른 거라고. 근데 만약 우리 아이가 교실에서 느끼는 감정이 가장 우리 아이가 얼마나 배우는지를 아는 가장 정확한 신호라면요. 오늘 저희 영상을 끝까지 보시면 그 비밀 이야기를 정확하게 짚어드릴게요. 선생님, 아이가 오늘 집에 와서 원생활은 재밌었다고 하는데 뭘 배웠냐고 물어보면 자꾸 모른다 그래요. 그럼 제 불안이 좀 쌓이거든요. 그 불안이 계속 쌓이면요. 준비가 안 된 아이를 계속 등 떠밀게 돼요. 오늘 뭐 배웠어? 빨리 대답해봐. 말해봐. 그러면 아이가 자꾸 뒤로 움츠리거든요.
Have you ever spoken in front of people before? How did you feel? I bet you felt nervous. Now imagine you're 5 years old speaking for the first time and your teacher's telling you, hey, no Korean. Hey, you have to speak English. Well, that can be really overwhelming for a child. And it's the main reason that we don't have an English-only policy here at DNA. We want children to be able to be comfortable before they get confident with their English ability. And by not having an English-only policy, that's how we actually created an English-only environment. Mr. Devin, how does that work? Well, our students want to speak English because they're not forced to. I've worked at places that have an English-only policy, and guess what happens? As soon as the kids go to the bathroom, it's Korean time. As soon as the kids are away from the teacher, it's Korean time. That doesn't happen here at DNA. And I can give you a great example of how comfort comes before confidence. We had a student here at DNA, and when she was 5 years old, she would always wear a mask. It was like a baby blanket to her. And she'd participate in class, she'd listen, she'd follow her teacher's directions, but she was always very closed and kind of small. And instead of telling her, hey, take off your mask, hey, you have to speak English, you guys speak more loudly, we were very patient with her. It took almost a year, but then that day did happen where she did take off her mask. And she just started to become one of the most confident, loud speakers in class. And this is just a great example of how comfort comes before confidence. This child really needed the opportunity to feel safe in the classroom before she could really be herself.
선생님이 기다려줬기 때문에 가능했던 거네요. 그런데 만약에 선생님들도 아이한테 강요했다고 한다면 이야기가 달라졌을 것 같아요.
And that's the thing most people miss. A child who feels safe tries more every time. So when a classroom looks like it's just playtime, well, that's really the comfort stage. That's a kid getting ready to try their best. You can't skip it, and you really shouldn't rush it.
그래서 아이가 교실에서 편안하게 보인다면 그건 아무것도 안 하고 있는 게 아니에요. 그게 바로 시작인 거죠. 우리 아이가 교실에서 어떻게 느끼는지 그게 바로 첫 번째 신호예요.
By not having an English-only policy, that's how we created one. Our students want to speak English because nobody's making them.
요즘 학원들이 다 즐거운 영어라고 하잖아요. 그런데 많은 부모님들이 어떻게 그게 실력으로 이어지는지 많이 물어보시거든요. 그래서 그걸 솔직하게 대답해 주실 수 있어요?
So honestly, not all English classes are the same. Imagine we have two students here. One is learning new English vocabulary at a different academy. Every week they're giving a long list of vocabulary words and Korean definitions. So they have to memorize the Korean to match the English. Well, the other student learns new vocabulary the DNA way, where we use context clues during spelling so the kids learn all the phonemes of the words so they can spell out the words phonetically, but they also learn the meanings of the word during spelling practice. Perhaps we have a word like elevator, and I would say, I rode the to the 6th floor. All the students say, elevator. Then we write elevator. And since they're learning how to spell things phonetically, they're like, tor. And now they're able to sound out the words and spell the new words as well. We have vocabulary PowerPoints where kids can look at an image of the word and have that sort of visual representation so they don't forget the vocabulary. And then there's lots of different practice and games we do. So when they're learning new vocabulary, it's fun and it's in English and there's not that Korean in the middle of it. This allows our students to actually think in English and use the English naturally. So both kids learn vocabulary every week, but who do you think is really going to remember the new vocabulary? We're going to play a little game today. Miss Erlina is going to pretend to be, well, Mr. Devin, and I will pretend to be one of these students who have been learning English through Korean translation. Are you ready, Mr. Devin?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, let's get started.
How are you today?
어떡해. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
What's your name?
이름 뭐지? English or Korean name?
English name? Do you have an English name?
로버트.
What's your favorite color?
뭐지요? blue.
What about you? What about your favorite food? What's your favorite food?
음식 뭐지? French fry.
Okay.
Okay, let me tell you a little story about how having a joyful environment allows children to make English their own. So we had these students, very young learners, and they're learning about the weather, right? You know, like sunny, cloudy, rainy, snowy. And I overheard one of the students say, last night was moony. And I'm like, what? Come here, what did you say? It was moony. I'm like, because the moon's outside, right? Yeah, the moon was out, so it was moony. Sun is out, sunny, moon is out, moony. And this was so funny because we know you can't have a moony isn't a real word. But to this child it is. This child made it their own. And this kid wasn't repeating English. They were using English to say their own idea. And honestly, now every time I see the moon, I'm like, hey, it's a moony night tonight.
어머, 너무 귀엽다. 근데 진짜 언어를 이해한 거잖아요. 다른 사람의 말을 따라한 게 아니고 스스로 만든 거니까요.
And that's why joy matters. When kids enjoy the language, they start to play with it. And they make it theirs. Everything we build at DNA, the drama program, reading, the projects, it's designed for exactly that. Not fun for the sake of fun, fun that makes the language stick.
그러니까 재미있어 보인다고 아이들이 언어를 얕게 배우는 게 아니에요. 오히려 반대인 거죠. 아이가 즐거워한다는 건 언어가 자기 것이 되고 있다는 신호예요. 많은 부모님들께서 우리 아이들에게 완벽함을 바라세요. 예를 들면 아이가 시험을 봤는데 시험이 틀린 게 보이면 속상하기도 하고 또 아이들에게 왜 틀렸냐고 여쭤보기도 하고 그런데 이것이 우리 아이들에게 어떤 영향을 줄 수 있나요?
I understand it. You want what's best for your child. You want them to get it right. But something quiet happens if you want your child to always get the best scores. They're going to lose their confidence and they'll be afraid of making mistakes. We have a philosophy here at DNA that mistakes are opportunities to learn. Now, let me tell you a little story about a student I had while I worked in Gangnam. Now, the school in Gangnam was a very academic place, and a lot of kids were under pressure. We were doing spelling, and we tell our students to mark answers wrong if it's wrong, cross it off, and write the correct answer in red pen. This student, I caught him in the back of the classroom. He was grabbing his eraser and he was erasing the wrong answer, taking his pencil, writing the correct answer, and then taking the red pen and having it in a circle. And I caught him doing that. I said, hey, why would you do that? He's like, oh, my mom will be angry if I make a mistake.
아, 그 마음 잘 이해가 돼요. 그런데 부모 입장에서 아이들이 잘하길 바라는 건 이해가 되지만 우리 아이가 그렇게까지 실수를 두려워한다는 게 참 마음이 아프네요.
That's exactly why at DNA we teach mistakes differently. We run a social emotional learning program called Second Step. And one of the phrases we hear in our Second Step lessons is practice makes better. Not perfect, but better. We never expect perfection. That's why our students use red pens to check their own work. When a kid crosses off a wrong answer and fixes it, they're not just correcting the paper, they're learning that it's safe to be wrong and then to get it right. A few years ago, a new student transferred in DNA, and during spelling check, he was doing the same thing that student from Gangnam was doing. He was erasing the answer, grabbing his pencil, writing the correct answer, and grabbing his red pen and circling it correct. Now this time, one of our longtime students caught him, and she was like, hey, don't do that. You should use your red pen so you can learn. I felt really proud at the time, and this student was a little bit shocked as well that we embrace mistakes so strongly here. That child taught another child a really important lesson that mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. And both those students are still making mistakes here at DNA and learning from them.
선생님이 그렇게 가르치고 지도한 게 아니라 우리 아이가 아이에게 자기가 배운 내용을 전달한 거잖아요. 그렇게 DNA 문화가 스며든 게 참 자랑스럽네요.
So when you look at your child's work, even their test scores, don't just look at the scores, you need to look at the mistakes. And you can bring your child in and ask them about the mistakes they made. And then you should really look for their reaction. Are they ashamed of their mistakes? Are they trying to hide their mistakes from you? Well, this is a bit of a red flag. A child who feels safe to be wrong is a child who's still learning. And that tells you more than any score can.
지금 저희 영상을 보고 계신 학부모님들 잘 들어주세요. 우리 아이의 성적표에 숫자만 보지 마세요. 우리 아이가 실수했을 때 어떻게 하는지를 보세요. 아니면 고치고 다시 해보나요? 실수 앞에서 편안한 아이가 계속 자라나는 아이예요. 아이가 어떻게 느끼는지 그게 가장 큰 신호예요.
Watch what they do when your child makes a mistake. Do they try to hide it? Are they ashamed? Or do they try to fix it and try again? That tells you a lot. Comfort, joy, willingness to try. That's what real learning looks like from the inside. when you see your child feel those things, that's the learning happening.
오늘 저희가 나눈 이야기가 많은 학부모님들께 도움이 됐으면 좋겠어요. 그런데 부모님들께서 자주 놓치는 게 하나가 있어요. 집에서 어떻게 영어를 해야 되는지에 대한 거죠. 아이에게 강요하면 역효과고 아무것도 안 하면 그 연결이 끊어져요. 저희 다음 에피소드에서는 집에서 할 수 있는 구체적인 방법을 알려드릴게요. 다음에 만나요.